tuned into Spiritual Gangsta Certified with Illy Vish.
Hey, this is Illy Vish, and welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Gangsta Certified. This week, we have Gemini Brown's weekly forecast, letting you know what's going on in the cosmos that will be affecting you. And also, I do a little talk about Jupiter entering Capricorn, so you don't want to miss that. Also, in the link and in the description, I have our SGC official store launch and a discount code to get 15% off and free shipping on any merchandise in the store. So you guys sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Spiritual Gangsta Certified.
What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Knowledge Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be taking a look at this week's forecast, seeing what the stars have in store for us. So, let's get into it. As always, shout out to all the Sagittarius celebrating birthdays this week. Pay close attention to this energy as it'll be with you all year. So, this week, we got a big event going on. We got Jupiter transiting into the sign of Capricorn. Of course, you know, last week we had the new moon in Sagittarius, so, you know, we're underway within that cycle, really, you know, pushing the envelope of optimism, adventure, taking action, and all of that. But we're due to, you know, have a little bit change of pace because Jupiter is the ruler of Sag, and it'll be moving into the Saturn rule sign of Capricorn. And why is this significant? Well, I always tell people to keep this in mind that Jupiter is, without question, the planet in your chart, in your life, that is, you know, always on your side. Jupiter wants you to succeed, and it's going to help you succeed in a way that you like, all right? Where Saturn does it through, you know, restriction and limitation and the need for discipline, Jupiter is more so just like, you feeling lucky today? I got you. You know, right place, right time, I'm gonna bless you with something. But the first thing I want you to keep in mind with Jupiter going into Capricorn is that our blessings may come through, you know, a bit of a struggle, okay? Because at the same time, Capricorn represents, you know, limitation and restriction as well, but more so the success that arrives from that, all right? So to get your blessings here and to really expand in the way that you need to, hard work is going to have to be put in. But if you've been doing a good job of tapping into, you know, Saturn energy up until this point, this is going to be, you know, a very rewarding time, okay? So I reiterate again, Jupiter is going to bless you no matter what, but the blessings are easier to come by when you're actually putting in work. And because it is in a Saturn rule sign, do your best not to be discouraged, because it is through our limitations, our restrictions, that we're really able to garner what we want. That's a piece of key wisdom going on here, all right? So it's gonna come into, you know, Capricorn, and it's really gonna ask us to expand on the structures within our life. And this, you know, plays into also the role or the aspect that we have this week of Venus in Capricorn opposing the North Node, okay? And since it's opposing the North Node, it's going to be, you know, conjuncting the South Node as well. So you'll really want to keep in mind of old habits, okay? Old habits and things that you're really much so attached to. You can find yourself, you know, becoming attached to those things again. But at the same time, the opposition asks you to examine whether or not this is limiting you, okay, or why you're doing this. Are you doing this out of a sense of, you know, security, or how can you use structure and, you know, how can your need for success or whatever energy that is connected to the house that Capricorn is in help you, you know, invite more comfort and security foundation into your life, okay? So this can be a very fated time. Depending on where this is happening, you can meet people who, you know, are gonna play a huge role in you know, having success going forward, okay? And more, these people can, you know, be family members, or they can be someone who, you know, feels like family. Or if you're really paying attention, they themselves may have a Cancer type of energy emitting from them, very inviting, you know, warm, things like nurturing, all of that. So you want to pay attention to that. All right, so there can be some very key connections had this week, but it's going to require you to, you know, take a look at where you're overly attached to, you know, certain things. How are you holding yourself back, and, you know, overall having more faith within yourself. That's what Jupiter is always going to do, regardless of what sign it's in or house it's in. It's always going to encourage you to have more faith. But this faith is going to have to come through having more faith in discipline, having more faith in building a structure, having more faith in, you know, being business oriented. So if this is in your second house, you're going to have more faith in terms of, you know, investing or taking a look at, you know, what you place value upon and garner whether or not that is the correct thing based on, you know, what it is that you want to achieve, okay? If it's your third house, it's going to actually have more, you know, more structure in your mental processing, how you go about learning things, how you're communicating with others, possibly adopting a more professional or direct, you know, manner of learning or communicating, okay? And if it's your fourth house, you know, this can easily spell, you know, and pay attention to your solar return chart as well. This can easily, you know, show a time where you may need to move, okay? And or that moving can benefit you, all right? But like I said, I always want you guys to go and look and see how, you know, that energy in which you're transiting is playing out in your life, how you can, you know, take advantage of that. And myself, I'm gonna just try to lead by example, you know, by the way I go about things, all right? So speaking a little bit more upon Jupiter and Capricorn, you know, it's like, I don't know, it makes me think about that Jay-Z song where it's like, I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know it ain't where I've been, but where I'm about to go, you know? So I say that to say this, Capricorn is about having goals, clear goals. I want to achieve this. And to achieve this, I must attain or I must use such and such to obtain this. So where, you know, Jupiter and Sag is more so like, I'm gonna explore and find myself through exploration. Jupiter and Capricorn is like, I'm going to map this out and I'm gonna have faith that this plan is going to, you know, if I do A, B, and C, that this will bring me, you know, the fulfillment or the desire in which, you know, I'm hoping to obtain. So expanding upon our structure, expanding upon our business sense, our practicality, overall having a firm sense of direction. But also gotta keep in mind, this is where Jupiter is said to be, you know, debilitated. So we may have a hard time doing that. And always know that Jupiter is associated with excess, you know? So financially, you know, we can, like I said, using a second house example or something, we may be forced to see where, you know, we aren't handling our money correctly, or how excess is, you know, leading us away from actually achieving what we want. But this is, you know, a time where you're gonna really realize that you can't get away from discipline. You can't get away from, being on point. Honestly, it's earthy energy. So there needs to be a practical approach. But based on what Jupiter taught us in Sagittarius, we should be feeling overall more faithful. All right. And then we have this Sag energy that, reinforces that right now. So also this week we got Mercury coming out of its shadow phase. So overall we should be feeling a lot more clearer, a lot more sharp mentally. Okay. And imagination is going to be key. We got the sun getting closer and closer towards Neptune. So it's going to require to really, dig in and do some spiritual work, do some creative work, do some imagining, some visualization. All right. But I really just want you guys to keep in mind what I'm saying about having, clear and concise goals. I could get on here and I could tell you a whole bunch of this, that, and the third, but it's just little direct approaches towards things that, help us obtain what we want. It's to know where we want to go and formulate a plan on how to get there and ultimately tap into, that Capricorn energy. All right. So this is my interpretation of this week's forecast. We got, a lot of good energy out here. The key is to be motivated. The key is to be optimistic. That's what Sagittarius energy is about. All right. So feel free to let me know what's going on in your world. If you need a reading, holla at me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do so too. Until next time, peace.
Hey, this is Illy Vish from Spiritual Gangster Certified, and if you haven't heard about Anchor and the fact that it's the easiest way to record a podcast, let me put you on. First of all, it's free, and we know we can't get any better than free. And it has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or from your computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to do any extra footwork. They'll send it over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more podcast platforms. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, so tell me where you're going to find that. Can't find it anywhere else. So it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. You want to make sure that if you want to start a podcast, that you go get the free Anchor app at anchor.fm to get started. So, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Gangster Certified. I am your host, Illy Vish, and we are going to talk some Jupiter going into Capricorn. I've seen a lot of people concerned with it. We know that right now, Jupiter's leaving its home sign of Sagittarius where it loves to be and is entering Capricorn, which is represented by the planet Saturn, which is in Capricorn. We also have Pluto in Capricorn. And so Saturn, the ruling planet of Capricorn, is about restriction, structures, rules, building, responsibility, accountability, the physical realm, physical things, about keeping karma in line. So with Jupiter in Capricorn, you can expect an expansion on those themes. Now, I don't like to make things sound like completely negative or completely positive. We always want to look at things through a lens of understanding that every sign and even every planet has its more negative or positive expressions. But I did want to talk more on the serious side of this transit, especially because I am already feeling it. I have a 3-degree Capricorn moon, and it's been interesting for me, so to speak. I am already one of those people who needs to have like order and structure and who is very much concerned with doing a good job. And then my Virgo energy makes me like really nitpicky at things. What I want everybody to do is consider their own chart for this transit. I did not have time like I intended to make a workbook for Jupiter and Capricorn. I made one for Saturn going into Capricorn. I think I'm still going to do one. It's just going to come out, into the transit having started. But I'll put that out and make it free for everybody who follows the Spiritual Gangster Certified page, because it's really wholly important. I mean, yes, we can talk about things on a mundane or universal level as far as transits are concerned, and try to describe things about them in general that are specific to the transit. But how specific transits impact our individual charts is very, very, very important. Where is Jupiter entering Capricorn in your chart? Do you know? This is an expansion of things. Yes, Jupiter is about luck and abundance, but sometimes the most lucky thing that can happen to you is for you to have something happen that didn't feel comfortable, that was kind of like a setback or a pitfall, that puts you in better alignment with responsibility and, taking ownership of things. Bossing up, essentially, okay? That always doesn't come from like some place where everything feels light and fluffy. It was more of an adventurous kind of feeling to, Jupiter being home in Sag. Whereas in Capricorn, we're going to have an expansion of Capricornian themes. So look at your chart, see where it is transiting. Is it making aspects to any planets? So we would talk about so for people who have Cancer moons, right now what that means is that Jupiter will be opposing your moon. And when we think of oppositions, as I always say, we want to look to it being about finding a balance. And the Capricorn and Cancer axis is already one of private life versus public life, so to speak. We could look at it that way if we looked at it 4th and 10th house. You can also look at it as being emotional versus being practical. Okay? And, when you're looking at any transits in your chart, you do want to take into consideration how they're impacting as far as the aspects are concerned, because then we're looking at anyone who has an Aries moon or a Libra moon, and this is just us talking about moon signs for an example, but this transit is going to square your moon. Now, if the moon is the seat of how we express our emotions and our natural instinctual reactions to things, you have a square going on with Jupiter in a sign of being responsible, doing the hard work, working in integrity, knowing the boundaries of things or setting them appropriately. This says a lot if you are not living in that spirit right about now. I mean, we have to think of some of the differences that people will experience based on how their chart is set up, So Jupiter in Sag was, expounding and blessing and bringing about a sense of adventure and learning and connection to higher-minded ideals, but a singular truth almost. You could look at it that way, and people adventuring off to find that. And now in Capricorn, it's look, first of all, we had Saturn go there first to tell you, look, work in integrity and do what you're supposed to do. You'll be all right. I'll grant you what you're trying to put together. But if you don't, there's going to be some blowback from that. And I feel like this is just an intensity of that all. Now, there are some people that deal with Capricorn energy better than others. That's not to say that Jupiter and Capricorn hitting your Capricorn placements is just going to be all rosy. Nah, that's even more specific and depends what's going on in your chart. And not only that, how you handle the energy. We cannot forget about the fact that, yes, the transits let us know the energetic weather that is present, but we still have choices to make about how we are, what we do, what we say, how we operate. So hard lessons of responsibility are very possible under this transit. There'll be an expansion of them. And then, with the sun being in Sagittarius, and it's encouraging people in some way, shape, or form to look for a truth, I feel like that intensifies the fact that Jupiter in Capricorn is going to make the truth real. That's how I'm looking at it. Capricorn Saturn makes things real, makes things tangible, puts things into a physical way. A structure, gives it something. Where are we lacking in our ability to structure appropriately? What is it that we're not doing that is not only honoring our own code of responsibility, but a greater code of responsibility? Like, is what we're doing and how we're doing it in alignment with a greater good? And if it is, are we doing the steps and the work that we need to do to put everything together? Are we bossing up? This is like management energy on crack. And like I would say with anyone, I've worked jobs where management could, I don't know another way to say it, eat a dick. People on power trips, management coming down on you for every little thing. You having to be so much on your P's and Q's, even if you naturally were, that it was uncomfortable for you. But then I've had management that's been fucking amazing, that has taught me valuable skills to take on into my life. So, are we going to do this the easy way? Or are we going to do this the hard way, in essence? Are we going to take the lessons and the themes that come up for us during Jupiter and Capricorn, okay? And are we going to appreciate them even if they're uncomfortable, if they feel strict and stern and, just controlling, constricting? How are we going to handle that? That's key. That's key. Like super key. Not even playing key. I feel too that you could benefit from basically understanding a lot of Capricorn keywords. And the thing about it is, I feel like I have a special connection just to Capricorn energy anyway, with it being the positioning of my moon. But on top of that, because we've been under the influence of Capricorn energy with Pluto and with Saturn there, it's like, if you haven't gotten used to some of this by now, I don't know if you've been paying attention. Like, regardless of whether you have a bunch of Cap energy in your chart or not, because those energies have been impacting you in some way. So, Capricorn wants to be organized and practical and productive. Now, the thing about that is, I keep referring to it as management and boss energy for a reason. Because sometimes our lessons and responsibility have a lot to do with how we are taking control or not of our lives, how we're managing things. Are we being practical? Are we being productive? Is our sense of self-esteem even based in anything that has to do with being reliable or respectable or a good leader? Being business-minded. The better aspects of Capricorn energy. Because it can also be very, very depressing. It can kind of be narrow-minded. The reason for this is a good manager, and I think about this all the time when we think about earth signs in general. The first earth sign is Taurus, concerned with what it has. So once you've mastered Taurus energy and know what you're working with, then you can go to Virgo, the next earth sign, and pick apart each place. And kind of get rid of what you don't need and keep what you can use. And then by the time you make it to Capricorn energy, last earth sign, this is about bossing up with all of that. making it work, making it real, okay? But the depressive part of it can come from it being so focused on materializing things that it ignores some of the aspects of Cancer, its opposite, which is feeling in alignment with them, whether it feels good, so to speak, whether it's nurturing. There's a balance that's there. And you also can look to learning that you have to be disciplined in whatever it is that you're pursuing during this transit. I mean, the universe is going to remind you whether you like it or not. It's amazing to me in a lot of ways that, we can complain so freely and easily about different things that have happened. But what we can't do is immediately find where the blessing was in the lesson. And I think that's the theme that this whole transit has a kind of vibe of, the blessing of Jupiter in the lesson of Capricorn. Okay, the blessings will be in the lessons. The blessings will be in the hard work. The blessings will be in the discipline. Okay, the blessings will be in being sensible. Where have you not been being sensible? Because if we go to the whole other end of this spectrum with Cancer energy, with, that being Capricorn's opposite, if we're too emotional, are we being sensible? We've had a lot of time in this Capricorn energy to kind of know the authority from which it speaks. There's no reason whatsoever why, this transit should be entirely difficult for you unless you're just playing games with the universe. Now, when I say difficult for you, I don't mean that you won't have any hardships or something come. I mean more so how you respond to it, because that's really, really the most important piece. How do we respond to our lives? What is it that we do that really makes a difference in the quality of our lives and how we impact others? Or do we kind of just sit in the stands of life and wait for something to happen? You want something to happen, you better be organized. If you want something to happen, you better be patient. You better show up on time. You better do all the things that a good manager would be asking that you do. Not a nitpicky one, but one that's truly about their job and doing it right. And that is the vibe here. Now, what job could this be? It could be anything that you're trying to manifest, a business, a goal. What things in your life that you have to put active work into are there for you? It's different for every individual, but if you can think of what your immediate goals or maybe short-term goals are over the next year, are you willing to do the work for them? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not, and this also means being conservative, because you have to know how to reserve your energy for things, maybe your money, in order to invest properly the way that you have to. There's a lot of things that have to go on in order to navigate this transit successfully, as it pertains specifically to materializing things, okay, making them physical. You want to start a business? How is that business made real? What are the steps that need to be done to get there? This is why I'm saying during this transit, you want to keep Cancer energy in mind, okay? But then you also want to keep Taurus and Virgo energy in mind. Have you mastered the other two earth signs with what it is you're trying to bring into fruition before you can do the Capricorn work? Because if you haven't, this is where your lessons are going to lie. What you have may be affected, Taurus. Okay? What is in your immediate surroundings, your possessions, your belongings, may be affected if you're not really working well with what you have. And then once you work well with what you have, should you keep everything you have? Is everything you have in alignment with the greater goal? For whatever it is that you're trying to have, I love thinking of transits in this way because it gives me a sense of understanding about the natural progression of things and how I can work in accordance with them. And given that, it's something that I tell other people that they should be looking into as well. We do not want to waste any of this energy. I don't want to scare people, but I don't want to sugarcoat it either. And I'm seeing a lot of posts that are doing more of an either or than a very good explanatory, just observation of this energy as a whole, good and bad, indifferent, everything in between. We've got to know what opportunities are present. Excuse me. Ooh. I don't know how that didn't fall off my lip right, but we have to know what opportunities are present, how we can use them, what this energy is of best use for. Again, go look up your Capricorn keywords. You also want to look up your Jupiter keywords. Okay? What is Jupiter doing to this Capricorn energy? It's making it more abundant. It's intensifying it. When you know this, what does that mean? Okay, do you want to deal with the harder aspects of Capricorn energy being amplified? Or do you want to deal with the better ones? Remember too, this is associated with 10th house energy. So we then look at our public face, how we're known. Themes involving that, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be all over the place, okay? Not saying everybody, I think people take this the wrong way, oh, well, it's not like I'm trying to stand out. Doesn't matter. The 10th house is about how you present to the world, and so is Capricorn energy. Whether you want to stand out or not, when it comes to your reputation, when it comes to what you're known for, the work that you do, even your career, this brings up opportunities to deal with issues in those areas. So it'll be an abundance of energy in that area as well. Especially if you just happen to have Jupiter going through your 10th house. Holy shit. But for everybody, again, a reminder, if you need to, pull your chart. Just look at where this is transiting. If you need help with it, we're always here. We have a special going up on readings. So if you need some assistance in understanding this energy or any energy at all, you can always hit us up for a reading on the Spiritual Gangsta Certified page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Spiritual Gangsta Certified Official. I'm also happy to announce that we have our merch store going up and our reports, which are readings, but typically my readings are recorded. They're videos I send to clients, and then I have a live session with them to go over any of their questions. But the reports are going to be information that is contained either in a physical book form or a PDF form that is personalized for you, so that you'll get a better understanding of how things are affecting you. So these are the reports that we're putting up in the store. One of the first that is up there is the seasonal report. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because it's a concept that's amazing and life-changing when you can kind of push it forward in your own life. And it's that, we deal with the seasons in astrological language. We look at the start of the year as the start of Aries season, the first sign, first season coming forth. Well, we look at the entire year like that, but we can also look at our particular year in a seasonal way. So your spring would start on your birthday. And if you look at your year from your birthday on in a seasonal manner, there'll be certain things that can come up. You can take advantage of energies, particularly for you. So I have a seasonal report up, 20 plus pages, all personalized. I've done it magazine style, so if you order one, I'm going to ask you for 3 pictures of the individual it's for, because I totally personalize it in a beautiful magazine layout. So it's specifically for the person, and it'll help them from birthday to birthday. So you can either order one from their birthday that just passed going into next year, or for one coming up. It's entirely up to you. But we're going to have some sales and some specials and some coupon codes that I'm putting up, so be on the lookout for them, you guys. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you all and all the great feedback that we've gotten, and I really, really do hope that you enjoy everything that we have coming in store, because in 2020 there's going to be astrology courses. My goal as an astrologer is not to have you dependent upon me for understanding what's going on. Yes, you can get more insight by talking to me, but in general, anyone looking for some astrological advice should have a basic, even just a basic understanding of astrology. So with that said, that's one of the things that I am very passionate about getting people to do, is to learn astrology. So those will be going up in 2020. I'll keep you guys posted, and my courses will be work. Just so you know, this is not for ease of use. I do challenge you. I'm going to stay in the spirit of Jupiter and Capricorn for that, doing the hard work, but learning something very valuable. So, hope you guys are dealing with this energy right, and that you had a good new moon last week. It was very busy. It was Thanksgiving week, so we didn't even get an episode up. So my apologies for that, but I look forward to our next episode. We have some great guests coming up this month, and I'm excited to share their knowledge and expertise with you guys. So hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you on the flip side.